Oracle, 30,000 employees. Meta, 8,000 employees. Takeda Pharmaceuticals, 4,500 employees. Cisco, 4,000 employees. Is this just the beginning of AI-related layoffs? And what does it mean for all of us that may be in the middle or later stages of our career? How do we protect ourselves? So much to talk about today.
Welcome to the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. Your guide on this journey is Amy Sylvis, ready to unlock the keys to a life of true abundance. We're diving into everything from financial freedom and optimal health to meaningful relationships, geographic freedom, and everything in between. It's about creating a life rich in experiences, purpose, and joy. If you're ready for the secrets to an abundant life, hit that subscribe button now, and let's get started.
Secrets to Abundant Living podcast community. Hey, it's Amy Sylvis, the founder and CEO of Sylvis Capital and your host on today's episode. Well, in all of our episodes, but I guess I meant to say it's a solo episode. So I am your sole host, no guest. But gosh, I'm sure you all have seen these headlines and folks throwing up their hands because of layoffs that may be coming related to AI. So I'd love to just talk to you all a little bit about how to think through all of this. What are we thinking around this type of news and information? You know, across the United States, unemployment is still historically low, but similar to inflation measurements, there's always ways to to measure things, to say what we do or don't want the information to say, or the statistics as it were. But if you're like most people, it's probably on your mind of what in the world is the future of employment going to look like in this world of AI. We're seemingly at the tip of the iceberg, and we're seeing, I wouldn't say mass layoffs, but we're seeing layoffs that it kind of makes me wonder, would these layoffs have happened anyway? Is AI just kind of this excuse or this cover to do layoffs? Or are we really starting to see kind of that scenario play out where humans are being replaced by AI and unemployment, you know, we're barreling towards a future of employment being significantly lower in industrialized nations? It's going to be really interesting to see. And of course, as we always talk about on this podcast, there's so little we can control, right? That understanding what we can control is likely the best way forward. And I'm thinking through, obviously, AI, we can't control. Government policy, we can get out there and vote, but there's not much we can control outside of that. So what does this mean for those of us, especially those of us that are midlife, mid-career, or towards the end of our career, or even retired? What does that mean for those of us who rely on a single source of income? I guess that's not me. I shouldn't say those of us, but for folks, and maybe it's you, that rely on a single source of income, or you and your spouse each have your own job. And what if you're at risk for a layoff? The statistics, you know, whether it's AI or not AI related, but layoffs in general, the statistics are really horrifying in terms of being middle-aged or older. Let me read some of them to you. Workers under 45 who lose their jobs spend a median of 13 weeks unemployed. That's a long time. That's under 45. For workers for 55 and over, it jumps to 72 weeks. Displaced men age 50 to 61 are 39% less likely to become reemployed each month than those aged 20 to 34. So almost 40% less likely to be reemployed every month. So if we look each and every month, what's the data there? 74% of reemployed older workers earn less in their new role. Ugh. Compared to 58% of workers aged 25 to 54. That's still pretty bleak. Even if you're younger than 54, 58% earn less, but 74% if you're older. And a typical older household's income drops 42% after a premature job exit, and most never fully recover. So AI is probably going to transform the employment space. And if you're older, and I say older gingerly, but 45 years or older. I'm almost 45, so I let myself in there, but you're an older person that's employed. Your ability to regain that income is even more difficult, AI aside. So, what I've spent quite a bit of my time thinking through, and it's probably no surprise to you, is thinking through other streams of income. Have you ever thought about having multiple streams of income? Instead of relying on just one stream of income where you're trading your time for money, how would you like to free up more of your time and live a more abundant life? As a listener of the show, you're invited to attend one of our upcoming trainings where I'll give you an inside look into how you can add passive income and get all the other perks of recession-resistant real estate investing without the headaches of being a landlord. I'll also be sharing some hidden mistakes to avoid and the criteria I personally look for when evaluating potential investment opportunities. To reserve your seat for free, go to sylviscapital.com/webinar. Again, that special link to reserve your seat for free is sylviscapital.com/webinar. I look forward to seeing you on the training. And now back to the show. People that are highly educated, that are highly successful in their jobs, typically aren't used to thinking of a side hustle or another way to earn income that can supplement or even replace their high salary job. But it really does make me wonder if we're going to start to see more and more folks try to mitigate that risk, try to really mitigate and hedge their bets around what that could mean, given their age and given where the economy is headed with AI. So I'll tell you what I'm seeing. I don't know if it's a trend or not. I'd actually be really curious to hear what you think, but I am seeing healthcare workers, IT workers, people that are mid-career to late career, that are well paid, that are high ranking, that are thinking very seriously about starting a consulting job on the side, their own consulting business. And this doesn't necessarily mean these people are throwing their W-2 out the window and, are never going to be a salaried worker again. Some people are doing this in conjunction, side by side with their W-2. But yeah, forming a consultancy where they can have another stream of income, maybe with the destination or the end goal of leaving their W-2, if they have the option to leave it on their own accord, right? As opposed to being laid off. But that being an option, writing a book, creating some sort of intellectual property that can give residuals, obviously investing. This is not new to you, but not new for you to hear from me, but investing in bonds where they can clip coupons and live off of the coupons there, or stocks that have dividends and living off the dividends there. Private lending, creating a private lending business where they're able to generate income that they don't have to trade their time for. And then, of course, my favorite, which is real estate and creating hands-off income from rental income there. And that can even, that can take all sorts of shapes and sizes, right? Running your own single family rental yourself, having an Airbnb, all the way up to investing alongside folks like myself in commercial real estate. But it really does make me pause about what is coming and how people who historically have earned great livings with successful careers, if they're going to be less likely to kind of jump on this train of creating other streams of income, creating businesses on the side, consultancies, their own companies, or investments outside of their retirement account that can replace some of their income. It makes me wonder if they're going to be last to do this because they are historically quite comfortable. And, why change? We tend to see this gig economy and having multiple jobs or multiple sources of income at maybe the lower or middle economic ranks. So I'm curious what you all think. If you all think that that's going to be something that's going to happen, but it does feel like change is afoot. And especially those of us that are of a certain age, it may be time to start thinking through this rapid change that may be coming and how we can diversify our sources of income. We talk about diversification and investing all of the time, right? Not putting all of our eggs in one basket, but what happens when those folks that are in their late 40s, 50s, and 60s have all of their income in one basket and haven't diversified and suddenly employment becomes more difficult. Maybe all of humankind is not going to be without work forever, right? I don't think that that's the future that we're going to come across, but perhaps it's going to be more difficult, more competitive to find jobs that are able to pay our expenses. And how does that play out when ageism is a factor? Maybe when salary requirements are higher for more successful, more experienced older individuals than younger folks who are able to, afford less salary. Lots to think about. Deep Thoughts by Amy Sylvis, right? My crystal ball is a little foggy in this respect, but I did just want to come on here and give some food for thought and really hope to hear from you all to understand what you think is coming and, more importantly, what you think you're going to do about it. I talked to some of you all who have intentionally thought through ways to create other streams of income. They're actively doing it, which I think is incredible. And I cheer you all on. I truly, truly do. Quite impressive, because it's not fun to be new, especially when you've been really successful at your craft and you've really proven yourself and you're busy raising kids and enjoying hobbies and, all of those great things that come with success in life. It's not fun to say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, or hey, I need to, start to focus on education in this new area, try something new. It can be risky, all of those things, but it can also be risky to not do something and to just kind of wait to see what may become as the data shows us. So, bit of a shorter episode here today. I appreciate you all joining, but drop us a comment, especially if you're watching on YouTube. I am really curious to hear A, what you think is coming, B, how you're mitigating that risk personally. You don't have to get into deep specific details, but I would be really interested to understand what you're doing. I suspect some people are really going to be caught off guard and it's going to be problematic. And it might be wise for all of us. I mean, I've got several streams of income because of my health issues. And, I addressed this earlier on because of my own personal circumstances, but society as a whole, it'll be really interesting to see how people approach this. Okay, that's enough for me today. Hey, if you enjoy our podcast, a great way to support us and to give back is to write a review on Apple Podcasts. So would love the 5-star review. Very, very grateful for that on Apple Podcasts. But actually writing a review tells the algorithm to send this show to other people and suggest to them to watch. That would be an enormous gift from you all. If you wouldn't mind doing that, send the episode to someone that you think might benefit from this. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. I appreciate you all. Thanks for joining for this short episode, and we'll see you on next week's episode. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will empower you on your journey towards abundance. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us, and it helps others discover the secrets to an abundant life too. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn, Amy Sylvis. Keep striving for your goals, nurturing your relationships, and embracing the adventure that is life. Until next time, we wish you an abundantly fulfilling day.